We've got a couple of guests in studio from Martyshuk Housing. We've got Dave and Rosie that have been kind enough to join us because they heard about our conversation yesterday and wanted to pick up on that. So first of all, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
So Dave, tell me a little bit about the concept as a company and how you're getting involved with the homelessness problem in our community here.
Well, it's kind of evolutionary. I didn't start off this way. Started off with rooming houses, providing accommodations to oil and construction workers coming in from out of town. 2007, I got a phone call from Boyle Street Community Services and a government department called AISH, and requested that I house one of their clients. So, bringing this individual in, we soon learned that we had to modify our operating protocols a little bit, and we did, and that was 2007. Today we've got 350 tenants.
Wow.
All previously homeless.
Now you've got 350, not just tenants, but hard to house tenants, is that correct? Chronically homeless?
Correct, yeah.
Why is there chronically homeless people? Why can't that be changed?
Well, there's a number of reasons. Primarily, addictions and mental health issues. They hinder one's ability to sustain housing. And a lot of times with those issues, they're left vulnerable, and so their friends or street acquaintances often sabotage their housing as well. So they're repeatedly homeless.
I think I can
Go ahead.
put a little light on this situation. I just met with a young girl the other day in the hospital, and she was staying in the hospital for about 3 months. Now, this young girl lost her mother to murder at 5 years old. Her brother is now sitting in psych ward in Edmonton, and she has nobody in her life. So I asked her, I said, if you aren't housed with us, where are you going to be housed? And she said, well, I guess I'll just go back to being homeless. She's 18, and that's been her life for most of her life. She has nowhere to go, and she went through 38 foster homes, passed around. So she's just learned to survive any way she can.
So how does just getting the roof over their head change the situation? Because if they've got a lot of issues, then, I mean, getting them off of the streets and getting them a place to stay is a pretty big hurdle. But that's got to just be sort of step one of it.
That's only step one. Bring in an individual who is homeless off the streets and giving him a place to live and some place to eat, that's only scratching the surface. There's many issues, and many agencies out there provide supports for these individuals. Unfortunately, Martyshuk Housing doesn't have those, or doesn't have access to those supports. But when you raise the bar with a lot of these individuals, they tend to change, and they rise with it.
But when you're saying that they're chronically homeless, though, so a job's not in their future, you're housing them. You're housing them until they're dead.
Pretty much, yeah. And Martyshuk Housing is usually the final stop for a lot of these individuals.
Some of them, it's just a step up, right? Some of them can go back out and they can get their lives back together. So it's just a stopping place. We have some people that are out working and their lives are back to normal, and they're grateful that we gave them that chance. A home, what a home means to someone, it changes everything for them. It builds their self-esteem. And what we're finding happens is when they come into Dwayne's home, they become a family. They're all there for the same thing. They all want to belong to something, and we become their family as well. So then they get a sense of family on top of everything else, which does way more for them than even housing them.
Dwayne's home, the fire was there, right?
Yes.
So how's that?
We've still got 7 suites that are down. We're just waiting for an engineer's report on those suites. But I think that fire happened on a Wednesday. By Friday afternoon, we had everybody back. We had some agencies jumped right on board. The fire chief himself was down there coordinating. We had 140 people that we had to evacuate that day.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no arguing that you provide a really critical and undesirable, I guess, service. Not a lot of people would want to step up and do this. Who finances this? How do you make money?
Okay, all of our tenants are either on Alberta Works, income support, or AISH, CPP. So we simply charge them the rent for room and board at Dwayne's home, $1,000 a month. A lot of individuals on Alberta Works, they only make from $700. So we need to subsidize those individuals. So by charging $1,000 straight across the board, for some of the individuals who can't afford the $1,000, we can pull from
Sure.
the high end. So it's a numbers game.
And where do you find your tenants?
Boy, we take referrals from everyone in town. You know,
But people can't just walk up to the front door and,
sure they can. Sure they can.
Wow.
If they're homeless,
Is
I mean,
there an extreme case that you wouldn't take, like, or are you taking?
Well, actually, the individual who set the fire, he kind of slipped through. I wouldn't have taken him in, that individual. And he wasn't completely upfront with us when he came in, with our intake coordinator. And he set the fire the day after.
oh, so that was
Those-
not an accidental fire.
That was a deliberate fire. So those individuals, yeah, you know, there are some that we just, I mean, you got to be really hard for us not to be able to house you.
Sure.
So given that these are chronic cases, I assume then that they're still drinking and doing drugs in the facility?
Yeah, well, okay, first of all, they're not all chronically homeless. We've got
Okay.
different levels of it. Okay, so level 1 is moderate mental health issues, no addictions. Level 3, they're on the fence, they've got addictions, they've got mental health issues, but they work in some sort of program and they've got supports. Level 5 tenants, these individuals are very difficult. So the individual set the fires at level 10, that's why he wasn't with us initially.
I was asking if they were still doing all their bad habits, the drugs, the alcohol.
Yeah, we allow them to consume beer, nothing over 0.6%. They're not allowed to do drugs on the property. In fact, we don't allow any activity around our building. We've got patrol. Our security guys patrol within a 3-block radius. And a lot of times we come across people who are not from Dwayne's home that are loitering around that area. You know, our hands are tied in that area.
Can they have overnight guests?
No.
One of the issues when the Terwilliger project came up was the warehousing of the homeless. Is the circumstance of it's what you can do? Is it an ideal circumstance to have so many in one place?
Well, it's what is ideal, really. We've got over 2,000 people sleeping outside tonight and no housing. Okay, so to bring 140 people into one location and be able and to watch them build their own and be part of their own community is incredible.
Did it make sense to you to build such a facility in a residential area like Terwilliger?
Yeah, it does. I don't see any reason why that hit the chopping block. First of all, I don't think they were intended to bring chronically homeless individuals down there. You know, it's that not my backyard issue. Terwilliger just has a lot of money to blow it up. My opinion, anyway.
Well, you guys could have a good long conversation about that. I think the two of you. Tell us about the event tonight.
Okay, later.
Yeah, it's a silent auction and fundraiser for our foundation that we built, Homeward Bound Support Services. It's at Tumbleweeds in the West End. I believe it's 15211 111th Ave.
People can Google it. Tumbleweeds.
Yeah,
Okay.
Google it, please. And we're just going to raise money so we can bring in support. So one of the things we want to do, because the people that work for us, they're tired. They just keep working and working and working, and I don't know how they don't get tired and crack. But we want to bring in more supports like addictions counseling, anger management counseling, because a lot of these people were born into addiction and violence and that kind of thing, and they've never dealt with these issues. So we'd like to bring in more supports so we can bring more help to these people and maybe do a little sense of rehabilitation.
Sure.
You know, we have, look at our downtown Proud crew that's out there working. There are people. They're out there working, they're cleaning up the streets. It's a job. They're doing something. So things like that, if we can rehabilitate them to a certain state, then we can also provide them maybe jobs like that and get them out working and have a sense of self and better themselves.
What's the website where people can get more information?
For the foundation, it's www.homewardbound.ca. hbss.ca.
HBSS.ca.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our Martyshuk is martyshukhousing.ca.
Okay.
Got it. Rosie and Dave, thank you so much for taking the time, especially to show up in person and talk with us. It's
And,
good
and
work
bring
that
a
you
documentary crew, which people
Yeah,
on the
what-
radio can't see,
what the
but
heck?
there's a fancy camera
Yeah,
here.
meet Mark Powers from the National Film Board of Canada.
If I'd have
We gonna
known
be on
that,
TV.
Well, I'd have put pants on if I'd have known.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Our Friday flashback is next.